As part of our LED sign box, we're creating something to put outside our workshop or our design studio. So I'm just looking at making one for Mr. Stevens, and this is the end product of what I've come up with so far. So what I did to start off with, I used Canva, and I used the AI generator. Now, if your Canva account doesn't allow you to do that, there's plenty of really good online AI generators you can use if you wanted to do that. So I've got this picture of Mr. Stevens, and I've called it Mr. Stevens, and now I'm going to come along and I'm going to download the image, and I'm going to download it as a PNG, and I'm going to make sure that the background is transparent. So just check the box that says transparent background. That's going to download into my downloads. The next thing that I'm going to do when I come into Illustrator, I'm going to open up a new file. So just coming over here to new file, and we're going to make sure that we've got our settings set up to reflect the bed of the laser cutter. So put into millimeters, 400 millimeters wide, 300 millimeters height. Orientation is landscape. Color mode is RGB, and then we hit create. From there, we're going to come up to file, and we're going to go to place, and we're going to place in our image, and we're going to come across and we're going to trace the image. We're going to trace it as a black and white logo, and then we're going to hit expand. From there, we can come along and we can grab onto the outer part and just delete these outer lines here. We're also going to drag the whole image across over into this space here, into the grey space, because you can see there's still a white background on it. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. So if we click on one of the white parts, we can come up to select, and then coming to same, and we're just going to go to fill and stroke, and that's now selecting all the white components, and I'm just going to hit delete. So I end up with my black and white image. I'm then dragging all this back onto my page. Now I'm going to start thinking about, I'll just go along and, yeah, so starting to think about the overall size of my project. With that box around the edge that shows the entire shape, I'm going to do it so it is 80 millimeters. Yeah, I'm going to do it 80 millimeters high. So I'm going to type in 80 there, and see how that's just stretched it high. What we might do there is we'll just click out of there and just go Command Z or undo. We'll just come across here and we'll just make sure that we're going to maintain the width and height proportions. So 80 millimeters. Oh. Okay, so we've got that one sorted. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to come along and I'm going to select the whole image again, and I'm going to come up to I'm going to come up here to object and go to path, and I'm going to go to offset path, and I'm going to offset it by 3 millimeters, and I'm going to make it round just to smooth off those edges. You can see here, if I have miter, you can see this kind of sharp edge there, so you can have a little bit of a muck around with the settings, but that gives me a much smoother image. And then I'm going to go OK, and then I'm going to come along and I'm going to go to unite, and then I'm also going to, next step, I'm going to come to release as well, just so it releases all of that. Just making sure going unite again, just to make sure we've got a full shape. And what I want to do now is I want to not have any fill, and I want to make my stroke red. Red is the line the laser cutter will follow. So now we've got our little outline there. The next thing that I want to do is I'm just going to move my, I might just ungroup, and then I want to move my outline off to the side. Now I know for my little timber box that I need to have a, for my LED project, the base of it is going to be 140 millimeters long. So I'm just going to make this one, I'm going to make it 138 because I don't want the acrylic to be longer. And the thickness of the timber is 12 millimeters, so I'm going to go 12 millimeters high. I'm going to unlock those proportions because they were still locked from my previous operation. So 138 by 12, perfect. And then I'm going to come along using my select tool. I'm going to put a box around the two, and I'm going to use my align tools just to align that down the center, which is good. And moving this one up. I just want to overlap the bottom part here. So I might use my align tool again just to make sure that's sitting in the center. The next thing that I want to do is that I'm just going to fill both those colors, and then I'm going to use the unite tool again just to join them together. Might group and then unite, that's better. And then I'm going to remove fill. So that's now our outside shape. And the other thing that I might do too, just to personalize it, because it's all about owning your own design workshop, I'm just going to come along and make a little bit of a banner at the top here. Probably don't want to go the full distance. I'm just going to go 100 millimeters by maybe 100 by 18 looks okay. Go 20. And I might just have this up the top, and just thinking about placement, whether or not I want it to be in the center, just so it looks okay, whether or not I want it to be straight. I could have it on a little bit of an angle, all things to consider. And so once we've got that there as well, we can do the same process. We can come along, we can group it. So that starts to look pretty good there. Then we can come along and put some text. Mr. Stevens Metal Shop. We can also, looking at our text, we can come through and just choose a font that we think might be suitable. And we can also up the size. Try and get that in the center. The other thing that we're going to do with text, when we bring that into different computers, they may not have the font, so we might just come along and we will expand the text. So just object and expand, and that will just convert it into lines. So that's now no longer text, it's just comes in as some lines. Then we're going to get this image here. Oops. Let's just make sure all of that's grouped, so when we grab onto it, we're taking every little part. Okay, then we're going to, excuse me, place our little rastered file inside that. Just kind of getting in close just to get it as good as we can get. It's a bit hard to use the align tools at this stage because it's difficult for it to know what to align from. So if you're patient and just kind of get it as good as you can get it. The other thing that I want to put in here is I will put in some very small little holes. So I've just gone with the rectangle. I'm going to make them no fill and red. And I'm going to make them 4 millimeters by 4 millimeters. This is for some little screws, some little pan head screws to attach this part to the timber. So when we're laser cutting, it's best to get all of your manufacturing processes incorporated to save you having to do more drilling in the workshop. And materials like acrylic are very brittle, so they risk being broken while you're working on them. So I've just copied that image. There we go. So I'm just going to place them there. So that's where I'm going to be screwing into our piece of material. And that should give you an overview about how you're going to create this for laser cutting. So black black objects on the screen will be rastered, and then we're going to have our red lines are cut lines. And so what will happen now is that we'll come through and we'll file, save as an Illustrator file, and then you'll pop that onto a USB for your teacher to laser cut.